Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well. Today I'm going to be doing another one of my author videos where I read a bunch of books for the same author, and today it's going to be Lucy Foley. I read The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley a couple years ago and I enjoyed it, but I had a feeling I would like some of her other books more, and so I've been really excited to delve into them, so I'm glad that I'm finally getting around to them. So let's chat about it. So the first book I read was The Hunting Party, and I gave this 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed it. It follows a group of friends from college, I think they're from Oxford, in their 30s, who then go up to the Scottish wilderness for New Year's and have a New Year's party, and then they wake up on New Year's Day and someone's dead. Classic. So we're following them, and then we also have the workers basically at the place, and I really love their relationship. The two of them together were quite fun. Yeah, it was just an enjoyable relationship to kind of explore, and then obviously it adds a nice balance because you kind of have the stuck up kind of rich people and then the staff who are working there, so it creates kind of a nice contrast for the story. But yeah, it's always fun from Lucy Foley. We get to see from different perspectives, which I always love. I will say I didn't love who the murder victim was. We all kind of saw it coming, which was annoying. It was kind of building towards it being this person, and then when it was that person I was a little bit disappointed. I was kind of expecting her to throw a twist there, but I did really enjoy it. This kind of reminded me of In My Dreams I Hold a Knife, which I think is Ashley Winstead. I think she read that, which I read last year or the year before, and I really like that book. It's kind of very similar of a bunch of college friends getting back together for a party, and they're all kind of trying to one up each other a little bit, being oh yeah, well I'm this person now. So you're kind of getting to explore that dynamic of being in a new chapter of your life and revisiting people that you knew in an old chapter. And there's a little bit of one-upsmanship, which isn't as explored as much in this book, but it was interesting. I really liked seeing that kind of dynamic and seeing people revisiting those people from their life. As always with Lucy Foley, there's 100 plot twists, which is really fun. The setting as well is almost its own character. It's just so well chosen. It adds such a nice backdrop to the story. As you know, it's obviously very remote and scary, and so for these kind of locked room-esque mysteries, it works really well. I will say the characters, I suppose I like them, but I didn't care about them quite as much. I really enjoyed my Lisa Jewell video that I did because I feel her characters are so fleshed out and you really connect with them. This just has a different tone. This is more cinematic almost, and you kind of get the archetypes of the typical Cluedo mystery, which I do really enjoy. It's just different, but I do think I didn't care as much when people died or when people turn out to be the murderer. But I suppose that's kind of what it's supposed to be. In Lisa Jewell's books, you're supposed to relate to the characters and you're supposed to like them, whereas with Lucy Foley, she kind of just makes unlikable rich people die, which is its own thing, which is fun. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. I didn't see the ending coming, and yeah, it was a lot of fun, so I'd highly recommend this one. The next one of Lucy Foley's I read was The Guest List, which I gave 4.75 stars. This was actually on my physical TBR, and I love this. I had a feeling this was going to be my favorite because it's a wedding setting, and I love a wedding. So having it's set on a remote island, so it's a destination wedding on this remote island. So we have this group of people who are all going to this wedding. Naturally, someone gets murdered, and we're trying to work out, what's going on. Lucy Foley does kind of have a system that she likes and she works with. So we have this group of rich people, and then there are the staff of the island who are hosting them. So again, we kind of get that contrast between the wealthier class and then the working class, which is interesting. And then the characters in this, I feel all the women, some of them were kind of horrible, but they all had redeeming qualities. The men in this book, as it goes on, you just keep uncovering. You're okay, there's even the lovely guys. You're what? They just all have this crazy backstory, this dark secret they're hiding, and they just get worse and worse, which was insane. So that was interesting for sure. But yeah, the women were nice. They kind of had multifaceted, whereas okay, they seem really nice, but they have this dark secret, but they have a reason for it. Lucy Foley didn't care about the men in this one. She was we're gonna make them all evil, which was kind of crazy. My sad little romantic heart also kind of got a bit sad with all the couples not getting along. We follow a couple couples because all of her books are multi-perspective, which is really fun. You kind of it really helps keep the story going and fresh because you're getting from different points of view, and that's always really fun. But yeah, it was just a little bit sad to see these people fighting, and you're kind of getting the girl best friend kind of thing, and her new wife, and that kind of just conflict. Obviously there's going to be conflict. It's a thriller, it's a book, stuff has to happen. But I was a bit even the nice ones, I was okay, they're going to be the good ones. I don't know if it's just that I'm used to reading murder mysteries where you have like a detective character where you have a safe character that you can kind of relate to and root for, and that's like your safe person that you know this is a good person. Whereas with these kinds of thrillers, this genre where they kind of do bits switching back and forth and stuff, and there's no real detective yet. I'm sure a detective would come out, but like none of the characters are really trying to work out what's happening. We just find out what happens through their perspectives. It's kind of tricky because my brain is trying to relate to someone and trying to like wants to root for someone, wants someone to be the nice person. And in a lot of times that doesn't happen. And I've talked about this before, I think it was in the Lisa Jewell video, where I'm going, yes, this is the great character. Like I like this character. I can't wait to read from their perspective. Like they're clearly the sound one. And then you get in their head and you're like, what's going on in here? Okay, I don't feel safe. Get me out of here. So it's just kind of funny with it's a new thing for my brain to kind of realize it's a new way for me to read. And I do really enjoy it. It kind of keeps everything uncertain, but yeah, it is interesting. And yeah, I did love this one. Lots of twists and turns as usual. I did kind of see it coming a little bit, but it didn't really ruin my enjoyment of it. I still really enjoyed it. The last one I read was The Midnight Feast, which I gave 4.25 slash 4.5 stars. This follows a wellness retreat type thing on its opening weekend, and everyone has like a little wilderness cabin, and then people start dying. It's a similar thing. She's kind of got it worked out. We also do get like the staff of the retreat as some of the characters, which is really fun. Again, like it's a nice dynamic. It is quite similar to the hunting party, I think, just because the setting is like very similar. And I love a setting. Like I'm a settings person, so that was really a big part of the book for me. And of course, like reading them quite close together, I think it didn't blend in my mind, but it just made it a little bit less unique. But it was still really interesting, and I do enjoy it. I did also read a little part of this on audiobook, which I usually don't do, and I just really was shocked at how much I enjoyed it. It was quite fun hearing like each chapter, because obviously each chapter tends to be from a different character, and hearing the different voices from the audiobook narrator. So that was really interesting to hear, like kind of distinguish that, and they captured the differences and the voice really well. This book also had like funny characters. Like Eddie was hilarious. I was laughing out loud, and he kind of helped ground it a little bit. And then we had Francesca, who was like the influencer kind of crazy girl, and she also made me laugh because she is just so like head in the clouds. Like there's a murder, and she's like, okay, but was it organic kind of vibes, which I think is just so funny. And again, Lucy Foley just knows how to play with this dynamic really well. It's very much where she's comfortable to see like these really rich characters who are so out of touch and just in their own world kind of start getting killed off or toyed with. And then we have kind of the sounding board of the normal people that you can kind of relate to a little bit more with, like they're a normal person going like, what do you mean that this is what you're thinking, there's a literal dead body? So as I've said many times in this video already, but that dynamic really helps these stories and just kind of grounds them a little bit to kind of give the lens of like, we're kind of making fun of this person, which really helps. We also have like a diary here because we're kind of flashing back to some characters that like knew each other in the past, and I love that. I usually kind of hate those. No, I don't really hate them, but sometimes I can find that a little bit boring, but I think it was really well done in this book, and yeah, it was just fun. I think it added a lot of backstory, obviously, because that's what it's supposed to do to these characters. That was well needed. And I'm going to put like a little spoiler warning on this because there's a twist. I usually hate cults, and there was a cult in this that was kind of a twist, and I actually really enjoyed it. I think she did it really well and kind of brought it in a fun and interesting way. So I was pleasantly surprised by that. All right, so those are the 3 Lucy Foleys that I read. I'm all caught up on her works now. I read she did a part of a multi-author book a little while ago, which I read ages ago. So I'm all caught up. Her next book, I think, is supposed to come out in 2026, maybe 2027, which is supposed to be an Agatha Christie-esque book. So I'm very excited about that. I think she is one of my favorite thriller authors, but she definitely has kind of a formula going where she knows how to write a hateable rich character. She knows how to like write a beautiful setting, all the multi-perspectives, twists. And I think I've read, like now that I've read all of her books, and even, after I read the first one, I kind of knew how she thinks and how she writes, which I don't mind. I like having kind of something that I know that I'm going to be able to pick up and enjoy. But it does, like, I have said this before about these videos, and I don't think I'm going to do many more because I do just burn myself out on all their work. Like, 1, now I don't have any more Lucy Foleys to read, which is kind of sad. But 2, they do just kind of blend together, and not like I don't get them confused in my head, but I think I just enjoy them less because like, okay, it's very similar to something just read. But yeah, I do really enjoy her overall. I think the characters and the settings, everything's fun, and I would highly recommend her if you haven't picked her up. I'm very happy with this video though, because I read the guest list, which was on my physical TBR, and I am going to be unhauling that. And then I had also been hanging on to the Paris Apartment, which was the Lucy Foley I read ages ago, in case I loved these 2 and I wanted to get have all of her work. And I've decided to unhaul both of those because I'm not going to collect, I'm probably not going to reread these. If I do, I'll just read them on my Kindle. So No problemo. But yeah, I'm very happy that I've got 2 books off of my physical, like, well, I suppose not physical TBR, but 2 books are like physical books out, and I've got 1 book off my physical TBR. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, consider hitting like or subscribing, and let me know in the comments if you've read Lucy Foley and which one your favorite is, and if you have any other thriller recommendations for me. I hope to see you guys in another video soon. Bye!